it's working. It said hums and a sound flow, but this is not broadcasting. There's not broadcasting on. How about that? We'll try that. We'll see if that works a little bit better. Is that any better, guys? Tell me. Okay. They go after the intelligentsia second. That's anybody that's smart enough to know what they're doing. Because they use the same plan over and over and over and over. They used it in South Africa, they used it in Rhodesia, they've used it in Russia, they've used it in Germany. And it's what's happening here right now. The whole propaganda for you is globalization. It's a good thing. Globalize, globalize, globalize. We need global government. We need a new world order. Now, we can see a new world coming. George Bush. I got a cold chill up my back when I heard that. I've tried to warn everybody. And I ran the story on William Tyree. I ran the story on George Bush in my motorcycle magazine. And I got threatened by the CIA. Guy shows up, just another biker. Know him around Miami, seen him around, don't know him. Hey, Clay, we're going to let you live this time. Because that Noriega stuff's already been vetted in the Noriega trial. Just don't do anything like that again. And he went away. No ID. But they never do that. Charles Collins didn't win. And people that I had interviewed on my shows, a lot of them have been targeted, a lot of them have been taken out. I had one gentleman, actually let me do this in a little bit more of an order. On September 11th, my friend Bill Cooper, who I was visiting with, we had decided to put our magazines together. He published Veritas, he was on shortwave, I was on shortwave. I published the Free American, I had a little bit more distribution than he had. We decided to put our efforts together. So we just had one magazine, one company running, 2 radio shows. Then we could do the advertising and all that. Neither one of us took advertising much. And we talked about that on my AT&T phone. I had an AT&T phone that I'd had since the beginning, since AT&T went nationwide. I had one of the first phones. Had to drive over to Texas to get it in from New Mexico. And so we talked about it on that phone. 2 weeks later, they killed Bill Cooper. Police showed up, pretending to be drunk teenagers. He came out with his gun to run them off, and they shot him. Shot his dog. I went on. I had my motorcycle magazine. In March 2004.
Why didn't shoot him?
Why'd they shoot him?
Not you.
They said they were huh?
Not you.
Well, they had something else planned for me. I wasn't with it when they happened. The cops came up pretending to be teenagers. He supposedly went out to run them off, and he was trying to get back into his house. If he got back into his house, he had all kinds of arms in the house, so they shot him before he could get back in.
And that was the way. You shot him when he was running away. With another way.
Yeah. And in May or April 2004, I guess I became what you might call the first 9/11 truther. Because I said, wait a minute. What about building number 7? No plane hit building number 7. and I had Larry Silverstein's quote on the front of my magazine. Yeah, me and the fire department made the decision to pull building number 7. Oh, if you pull building number 7, that means you had to have explosive planning in before 9/11. If you had explosive planning in that, gee, what are the odds that you had explosive planning in the other two? In April of 2004, a story broke in the New York Times that George Bush had allowed the NSA to tap everybody's phones. NSA didn't tap anybody's phones. But 2 Israeli companies did. Amdocs and one other. And on May 20th, 2004, now this magazine's gone, it's out there, it's on the newsstands, March issue, April's out. May 20th, I called home on my AT&T phone and asked my son, where do you need me to go next, son? Where are you, Dad? North side of Phoenix, Shaker Skin Tattoo Bar. Hello, I'm kind of in the middle of a speech right now. Can I help you?
If I caught you at a bad time, this is Billy. I'm just letting you know that the hotline number to your show has changed as of today. And sending you an email with new banners and everything.
All right, great. Send that to me. Thank you very much.
All right, so
The magazine was in the stands, and they're already starting to call us conspiracy theorists. And I think that the conspiracy was so obvious. I said, call me a conspiracy theorist, man. George Bush makes you look like an amateur. He wants you to believe a bunch of Arabs in a cave in Afghanistan made the U.S. Air Force stand down. Where do you need me to go next, son? Well, go down 24th Street to McDowell, turn left to the wheel shop. It's right there. Okay, see you later. 2 blocks before I got to McDowell, I was hit. T-bone, hit hard enough to roll a Road King motorcycle over me 3 times. Smashed my head against the curb. I don't wear helmets. I still don't wear helmets. And they rushed me to the hospital. They said, man, this guy fought us all the way. Didn't want to get in the stretcher, didn't want to get in the ambulance. Doctor told him, well, it's a good thing he did that. Kept the blood flowing to his brain. They got me in the hospital, and they kept me drugged for 3 months. Halcyon, Talbot, Valium, morphine. Got no memory of 3 hospitals. They transferred me to a 4th hospital, Barris Neurological Institute at St. Joseph's Hospital. And finally my sons told them to take me off the drugs. Yes, ma'am.
Medically, what was going on that you were hospitalized? Did you have fractures? Did you scream in the accident? Did you have to be hospitalized? Medically, what happened?
I had 3 broken ribs and a bump on my head. I had blood on the brain, they said. Yes. But as far as I know, I don't have any stitches. I didn't have any stitches. Nothing happened. But I got no memory of that. And when my sons finally told them to take me off the drugs, when they did that, in 3 days I was up and walking and talking and walking around. I had to carry my coffee cup in my right hand. I had 3 broken ribs here, broken collarbone, broken clavicle, bump on the head. Could have been concussion. Could have been. But 3 days I was up from Montana, going up and down the stairs, going to get coffee. Starbucks. And then two guys in blue pinstripe suits showed up. Hey Clay, how you doing? I'm okay. How are you? You been hallucinating, Clay? And I had been, but I hadn't told anyone. Not my family, not the doctors, nowhere. I thought it was just coming down off the drugs. They had me in one of these net bags, plastic mesh, so I couldn't fall out of bed. And I was freaking out pretty good because I could see smoke rolling across the floor, and I didn't have a knife, and there wasn't any way to cut my way out of it. So I was freaking out pretty good, but I still didn't tell her. And I said, yeah, I've been hallucinating a little bit. Why, who are you? We're CIA, you can thank us for that. Yeah, you're CIA, huh? What are you doing in this country, and what are you doing messing with me? You got no right to be in that. We don't like you publishing that motorcycle magazine. The motorcycle magazine. What are you talking about, man? Free Americans want to expose you spook types in. Why would you care about a motorcycle magazine? Well, you paint a rosy picture of riding a motorcycle. You got a big audience. We don't like that. Translation? My sons had kept the motorcycle magazine going while I was unconscious, so I still had a source of income. They didn't like that. They wanted to silence me. And then they went to work on my family. Don't let him drive. When he gets out of the hospital, make sure he takes this Depakote here. You know what Depakote is? Why?
One reason is when she suffered a subdural hematoma, that can actually, it's not just a bump on the head, it's a big blood clot builds up in a vulnerable part of the head where it touches on the brain and people's pulses in. It can kill people, it's very serious. It can also increase your risk of going to seizure. The way to prevent seizures is giving a lot of blood medication by what you're prescribing. It let the heck out of people. And Depakote as an outpatient can also keep you from pre-active seizure. It's also that subdural hematoma.
It also increases the risk of a heart attack. I read all the contraindications. And, you know, my ex-wife, she thinks, hey, this doctor saved your life. I didn't think so. I thought they tried to kill me. I thought, you know, it was like one nurse came up to me, male nurse, black male nurse. Boy, you're one mean sucker. Well, you pulled off pictures off the walls and beat us over the head with it. I said, that should have been a clue to you. You had me on the wrong medication. Didn't anybody tell you I almost killed the first guy that gave me a Valium? You know? What are you guys crazy feeding me that crap? Oh, well, you better get long-term care. Make arrangements for long-term care. Don't let him drive. Make sure he takes his Depakote. My response, the only thing I need is a joint and a Harley. I ain't taking no more of your drugs. I ain't taking.
Did you ever have a seizure?
Nope. But the next day after the CIA guys left, and they could have been, understand, they could have been anybody. They could have been FBI, it could have been gang squad, they could have been the Mossad, they could have been ADL, they could have been Southern Barbara, they could have been anybody. They didn't show me any ID. And they sent in the, what I call the third team. The woman that hit me was the first team. Second team was the CIA guys that claimed responsibility for my hallucination. Third was a little lady in a brown suit. Hi, Mr. Douglas. I got to give you this injection. Yeah? What is that? It's a tranquilizer. Well, lady, I don't feel much like being tranquil today, so I'm going to pass. Thank you anyway. You have to. You have to. I have to give this to you. No, ma'am. I got the right to refuse medication. I don't know who you are. I don't know what that is. If it was Kool-Aid, it'd kill a horse. The doctor didn't prescribe it, and I'm not taking it. You have to. I'm going to go get security, and they're going to hold you down. I'm going to give it to you. Go get them. And she did. She came back with 4 uniformed St. Joseph's Hospital security guards. I had been unconscious for 3 months. I'd lost 100 pounds. I was down to about 225. And I wasn't eating anything because I was afraid they might be putting something in it. So I said, boys, a couple of things you need to understand. Step over here. Come over here. Get away from her. Got him away from her. Okay, boys. Before we do this, 2 things you need to know. 1, I'm not taking that shot. 2, when I was in Special Forces, they didn't teach me how not to hurt anybody, so here's what's going to happen. And I went up to each one of them individually. You, Chubby, I'm taking your throat out. You, I'm breaking both your legs. You, I'm going to break both your arms. You, I'll smash your kneecap, but you may never walk again. Now, you guys ready to dance? Come on. Come on. And they backed down. I call it the best bluff I've ever pulled in my life. I might not have been able to do that. You know? No. But, you know, I was still 6'4". And I honestly believe if I had taken that shot, I wouldn't be alive right now. Because I still don't know who that nurse was. I don't know if she was a nurse. I don't know who she was. I don't know who the guys were. The security guards, they had a little bit of a sense of self-preservation, so that was okay. I got out of the hospital, and because I wouldn't take the medication, because I said, give me my keys. Dad, you know, most head injury patients, 9 out of 10 head injury patients die in their first year on the road, on the hospital, on the road. Well, consider me number 10. Give me my keys. And they left. My wife left me. My family left me. My boys left me, and they all walked away. And I ran the Thunder Riders magazine, which is still left, for a little while, for a few months. Now, maybe up until this point, all of this was just accident, and I just got a vivid imagination. They were just doctors. They were just doing their job. They were just nurses. They were just. Then I got a phone call. Same AT&T phone. It was a friend of mine by the name of Casey Nettercott. He had something called Ranch Rescue down on the border. He went out, he had been busted in Texas, supposedly for pistol whipping a couple of illegal aliens. Got a hung jury. I helped get him out of jail out of Jim Hogg County, Boss Hogg County, I call it, Texas. I helped get him out of jail. He had a hung jury. He called me up after my accident. Clay, I want to help you get the Free America started. Casey, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. But it's expensive to do that. Takes a lot of money. Clay, I got $1.5 million in one account. Money's not an issue. Buy me breakfast, man. I'll be down in the morning. I drove down to Douglas, Arizona, to meet Casey on his 70-acre ranch. I walked into the Sheriff Deaver's office first. You know, where can I find Casey Nettercott? He wouldn't tell me, or his staff wouldn't tell me. I stopped the postman. He goes, yeah, Casey right around the corner, right around over there with him. But you can't see him. It's okay, I got an appointment. You can't see him. He's surrounded by Border Patrol. So I went over to see Casey. Border Patrol was there. They wouldn't let me in. They wouldn't tell me. You can talk to those two guys over there. They're local reporters. What happened here? Well, Casey was, and his bodyguard were coming out of the Safeway, and somebody came running up to him with a gun drawn. The bodyguard shot him, shot at the guy. Turned out the guy was FBI, and the rest of them opened up on Casey and his bodyguard. Shot him. I went down 30 days later. Casey was still alive, still free. I told him what they told me. He said, Clay, we were coming out of Safeway. We went in there to buy your breakfast. We didn't have a gun. We didn't have nothing. And the cameras on the Safeway parking lot showed that we didn't have nothing. So all this was dismissed. Sheriff Deaver later told me he thinks it was Border Patrol or some other agency that had arrest warrant for him and said they were going to go try to pick him up. But I said, he said, well, my bodyguard, my friend Tiny, he left. He boogied, you know. He's not anymore. I said, do you still want to do this? You know, because I'm thinking, man, they shot him when they heard me on the telephone. When they heard me and Bill Cooper on the telephone, they shot him. When they heard they heard me talking to my son, you know, they tried to kill me. And now they've tried to kill Casey another time. He said, yeah, I still want to do it, but I got to go to Texas. Why? Morris Dees from Southern Poverty Law went to the Jim Hogg County Sheriff's Department, told them they would sue him. They would sue the Sheriff's Department if they didn't retry Casey Nethercott on the charge of pistol whipping these two illegal aliens. He said, so I got to go back to Texas, stand trial again. And the two lying illegals became Morris Dees' clients. And Morris Dees sued Casey Nethercott while he was in court in Texas on this criminal charge, a reopened criminal charge. And he got a year and a half in Texas, and Morris Dees got a default judgment and took his 70-acre ranch away and gave it to the two illegals. And that story made it into 60 minutes, except they didn't tell you,
I remember parts of that.
they didn't tell you that he had been shot buying Clay Douglas breakfast. So then I decided maybe I need to go back to New Mexico, paying rent here, Motorcycle Magazine still going. And I cut a deal with a publicly traded company to buy my Motorcycle Magazine, half of it, $500,000. And that was on Thursday, we signed the papers. On Friday, this is something about beginning of 2005, right at the end of 2004. They put a press release out on Wall Street. We bought Arizona's premier motorcycle magazine, Thunder Riders, and related properties. And Clay Douglas will remain on as publisher. Monday, I walked into my new office, and the CEO is white and shaky. Can't go through it. Can't go through it. They've contacted every stockholder in the company. They've told them what a right-wing, radical, racist, anti-Semitic, racist you are, you know, anti-government. And they're threatening to impeach me from my own company, a publicly traded company, if I go through this with this deal. That's all right. Don't worry about it. I'll let you have the contract. I wouldn't want to be business with a coward like you. So, I have no desire to do this. Now, where does that? Who has the money and resources to go after 200 stockholders in a company? I don't know. I couldn't do that. 2 years ago, I came here. I came out with this book. I finished this book, Mystery of Babylon. This is a whole history of everything that I've gone through, including the Operation Watchtower, the whole Cthulhu document, the latest Homeland Security assessment, where they're trying to demonize the militias again. Now, they're trying to demonize the veterans. They're trying to, just a few years back, they passed this homegrown terrorism law. That was Senate Bill 1959, House Bill 1955. Do you recall that? Do you know what happened to that bill? They created fusion centers for that bill. And the fusion centers are basically the way the federal government, the method the federal government is coming in to take over the local police departments, and they're building up the SWAT teams, they're building up the tanks, the armored vehicles, everything like that. They're giving all these police departments this. Your biggest enemy, the biggest problem they got is the sheriffs. Yes, ma'am.
It's my understanding that the fusion centers are also information collecting centers that they're accumulating huge amounts of information from different parts of the people. The people on frequency radio, like this NCO, have talked about the frequency on transmedia, and I think some others have investigated it. But it's basically out in the open and admitted. It's not a theory. It's fact that the fusion centers will go after collecting information on people like you, or people like me, because I run this group. Anybody that has a red flag for that, the biggest thing with a red flag.
If you listen to me, then you're potentially a victim. And people are afraid, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. You know, I mean, it's like maybe I just don't have the intelligence I think I am. Maybe I'm not smart enough to be scared. I don't know. You know, but then again, I feel like I've been here before. I've been here and I've done this a number of times over the past few thousand years. So they really can't scare me. I've died 3 times. I mean, they've killed me 3 times. They killed me in the Army with spinal meningitis, which I got after vaccines. Was it related? Who knows? I don't know. And I died in the hospital, I'm sure. You know, I mean, I remember the whole going down the tunnel to the light type of thing, and then somebody told me, they've notified your mother, she's on her way, and I came back down that tunnel every time I hear footsteps outside. So they can't scare me. I mean, I got that a lot after I got out. Aren't you afraid to ride? Let's see, I've been riding for 50 years, and I've been in one hospital. I've been in the hospital once from that. You know, I think you're you're in a little bit more danger. By the way, I also I referred to this whole war on terror. That's a war on anyone, anywhere in the world doesn't want to go along with one world government. One world government of the banksters, by the banksters, and for the banksters. And it's what is happening right now is probably scaring me more than I've been scared before. Because up until now, it's been, well, yeah, I'm a canary in the coal mine. Yeah, watch it. When if they try to kill me, they could be coming from you next. You got a Ron Paul bumper sticker. That's the Fusion Center in Missouri said, if you got a Ron Paul bumper sticker on your car, you know, our Constitution's sitting up there, you know, you might be a terrorist.